The advice and opinions expressed by the host of Autism Live and her guests are meant solely as suggestion and should not be in any way construed as child-specific advice. The Center for Autism and Related Disorders advises working with a board-certified behavior analyst who has experience with autism before starting any intensive behavioral intervention. Any choices you make in determining your child's treatment are completely at your own discretion.
Good morning and welcome. Oh, the mayhem. You have no idea. It's all crazy, crazy toyness here. And I love it. I love every single minute of it. Welcome to Autism Live. I'm Shannon Penrod. We're coming to you from the Warner Center in Woodland Hills, California. This is the home for Autism Live. It is also the home for the Center for Autism and Related Disorders. And I don't know about you, but like I could plan starting in July, but it's always this time of year and it all like starts to spiral joyfully off the railroad track, right? But I love, love, love it because for me, it's the happiest time of year. It's about abundance. Because it's the harvest time and different times in my life. I've lived in farm communities but it's also that time when I think people who are mindful of it start to be mindful of all that we have to be grateful for. Can I tell you that this morning, my wonderful husband, who I adore, I'm going to tell on him right now. He was doing dishes this morning because that's how wonderful of a husband I have, can I just say. And we had a sink full of dirty dishes. We've been trying so hard to keep on top of it, but you know, life gets crazy and we're doing things and they'll stack up a little bit. So he was there doing dishes and I thought, oh, it's his day off and he doesn't get enough days off and this poor man is having to do dishes on his day off. And I walked by him and he said, can I just tell you how overwhelmed with gratitude I'm feeling right now? He's like, aren't we the luckiest people? And we both stood there and said, yeah, because when you have a sink full of dirty dishes, it means that you've got dishes that you were eating and there's a roof over your head, right? And there have been times in our lives when we would have been like, you know, a sink full of dirty dishes would have been a fabulous thing to have, right? So how lucky am I that I had a husband who realized that for what it was and reminded me of what it was. Let's all get our grateful on today, right? Because there's a lot to be grateful for. Yes, there's a lot to be fatutzed about. There's a lot to be upset about. There's a lot to feel lack. That's all there too. But we have the choice of which mindset we want to be in. And I guarantee you that if you walk around feeling grateful for the things that you are and that you have today, that abundance will come to you. It will show up in the silliest of ways. It might just be that somebody smiles at you because you were smiling. And boy, that can change the whole equation, right? So I throw that out to you. But in any case, we got a great show for you today and we got more toys to showcase. And today we're showing you baby toys and it makes me feel all gushy and fabulous and wonderful because I love me some babies and I love good baby toys. Good baby toys are where it's at, right? But we've also got other good stuff happening today. So I want to remind you, and Traven's showing you all the different ways that you can watch the show, the different ways that you can interact, different ways that you can say, hey, what about this and what about that? Because we love to hear from you. We really want to be as interactive as possible. And I'll remind you that our homepage is autism-live.com. And at the very top of the page now, there's a little toy guide, right? That if you click it now, you will see the 2019 Autism Live Toy and Gift Guide. It will show you all the things that we're showcasing here on the show. And not only that, while you're there, you can look around and see what you like. And because so many of you said, hey, I just don't want to have to go Google it someplace else, we made it interactive. So if you click on the title of the toy, you click on it and it will take you right to a place where you can purchase the toy. We don't get any percentage of that. I just want to be really clear. That is not an advertising thing. We chose the toys because we loved them. But you asked to make it easy to purchase them, so we made that possible for you. So at one point we had a little button that said purchase now. I don't know why we switched this year to it's the title of the toy. If you put your cursor on it, it becomes interactive. and click it, and it will take you to the site. And if it doesn't for some reason, let us know, because we'll have to fix that, because it was supposed to do that. In any case, you can also be writing us questions on the live chat, which is at the bottom of the page. You click the live chat, it opens up a box, you type, you hit enter, and it shows up there. Also want to let you know that when you go to the site, autism-live.com, you're there about 6 seconds, and one of those dreaded pop-ups comes up, right? And I hate it. I know you hate it too. And it says, would you like to subscribe to Autism Live? And we did that because viewers asked us to, because they couldn't find the place to subscribe. It was a button you had to click and nobody could find it. So now it's there, and I know it's annoying, but once you subscribe, it goes away. And when you subscribe, all you're subscribing for is to get a little postcard emailed to you at the beginning of the week that says who's going to be on the show that week. So we don't spam you. We don't give away your name. We don't do that. We just, because I'm an autism mom and we're not doing that, right? So feel free to subscribe, and then you get the every once in a while we'll send you something extra. That it's only if it's something that's like a coupon that we'll send you something extra, and we've only done that a couple of times. And then if we're going to have Temple Grandin on, we'll email you about that too, but I think most of you really want that. Okay, so that's that. Also want to let you know that as we do the show, we love to have all the experts on the show that we have on the show. We're so blessed to have so many experts willing to donate their time to come on and answer your questions and talk about the things that they talk about. Please don't be confused, though. We have experts on the show. I'm not one of them. I am somebody who's been covering autism now for 11, 12, I think we're in 11 years now. So coming up on 12 years. And so I have an informed opinion, and which I'm always willing to share, you know what I'm saying, but not an expert. That's why I bring experts in, so that you guys can learn from them and that you guys can ask questions. All right? So all that out of the way, we like to start Monday mornings fresh with something that we call the jargon of the day. This is when we take on one word, one phrase, one acronym. We try to figure out what in the hey nani are the experts talking about. We give you an actual definition, which whenever possible I try to make fun of, because really what else can you do with them? And then we give you a working definition where we try to get you to the point where you have a beginning understanding. Please don't feel frustrated if you still don't get it. I will try to give you an example to put it into context. But if you don't get it the first time, join the club, because so many of us did not, right? It does not mean that your elevator is not going all the way to the top at all. These are some pretty convoluted things. And we know that it takes more than once, which is why we go over them from time to time. But I'll tell you what happens once you hear it. It's like you're like, I don't know that I get it, but I sort of get it. I don't know. And then you'll see it in life, and you'll go, that might be that thing that woman was talking about. And then the next time we do it, you'll go, yeah, that's what that is, and I know exactly what it is. And then it becomes yours. And then you see it in real life, and you go, hey, that's what that is. So what are we talking about when we're talking about functional pretend play? The first time that I heard all the different descriptions of all the different kinds of play, I was like, well, there was somebody who had time on their hands that they decided to, categorize all the different kinds. How about we just play, right? Except that I had a child who wasn't playing, and I couldn't figure out why. Why is he not playing? Why can he not do this? Why can other kids do this and he can't do that? And then when I saw, oh, well, first he needs to do this, and then we learn this, and this is how we work on this. And by the way, it's called that, and it's very specific. Then we knew what to work on, and he loves to play as much as anybody else, and always has since then. So functional pretend play, what is it? Let's take a look at our actual definition, see if there's anything to make fun of. Using lifelike objects in a purely functional, socially conventional way to imitate or act out common action sequences. Talk about making it as dry as a stick in Texas. like how can you make pretend play seem boring? And I always love it when we put the word functional is in the title. Functional pretend play. I think we know what pretend is, and I think we know what play is. So what is functional pretend play? And then explaining it to us saying it's functional. That really helps, doesn't it? I enjoy that. Okay, let's move on to what our working definition is. It's playing with toys that are lifelike in a lifelike way. So when there used to be toy stores, remember when there used to be toy stores? And there still are some Astra toy stores, but you got to look harder to find them. A lot of times there was an aisle in the toy store that you would go down and you would go, okay, that's interesting. It looks like a housewife's dream place, right? Because there's the vacuum cleaner and there's all the, play toys that are food, the pretend food, the little plastic banana and, the plastic cupcakes and the plastic pizza maker, all of that stuff. And then there are the dollhouse things. And then there's the little credit card machine and the cash register. And there's a little pretend shopping cart. And they're lifelike, but they're clearly toys, right? But they shrunk them down to be the right size for the kiddos and they've made them more primary colors. But there's a part of them that is functional. It looks like it's able to do the thing that it would do in real life. So the pretend shopping cart, the kiddos can push it and they can pretend to be an adult and they've got the same tool that mommy has, which is the shopping cart. And you can put stuff into it. It is functional. Right? It works to a certain different degree. Now, the pretend vacuum cleaner, you push the button, it lights up and it makes a noise, but it doesn't actually suck. So the functional part of it is that it's trying to look lifelike, right? But it's trying to function like the things that we use to function in our life. So I know I used to think, those toys. Like what child really wants a play vacuum cleaner? Come on, except they do. They really, really do. They really, really want it. And if you take them to any kind of a daycare and they have the little playhouse that's there and there's the play vacuum cleaner and there's the play stove and the play food and all of that stuff, and they'll play house and they will vacuum. And they do all the behavior that they see whoever does the vacuuming at home. And it turns into this thing where they are pretending to be adults. This is very good play for them. And it's good because they're noticing things. And by the way, if your kiddo doesn't notice those things, it's good to have them play with other children. And maybe they're not noticing that dad is vacuuming, right? But then they see one of the kids vacuuming and they go, oh, what are you doing with that? And they want to model the behavior. And guess what? We want them to model the behavior because later on when they're a little bit older and we actually want them to vacuum, we don't want it to be the first time that they've ever seen it. And it helps them to learn about roles and things that we're trying to do. It gives them the safe place to try it. For our kiddos that have food sensitivities and we play with it with the pretend food and we've taken out all the smells, we've taken out all the textures, and now we're just doing the social part of the eating, which is an important part of it, right? So don't discount the functional pretend play toys. I always diss them. But my son did not know how to sit and eat with another person. He literally, if anybody else was there eating with him, he would just stop and be like, what's happening? And he wouldn't eat because he was so busy watching what everybody else was doing that it was fascinating to him, right? And so he wouldn't eat. So we would do pretend play. We got a little, there was, at the time, there was a little backpack that came filled with Subway pretend food. And it had the little Subway cup, had the little logo on it, and it had all the things to make a Subway sandwich, and the bread and the cheese and the meat and all that stuff. And so we would make the pretend sandwich and we would pretend to eat it. And because there wasn't the smells and the textures and we weren't actually eating, he could do that with us. And so gradually we got him to the point where he could eat with other people sitting there eating. He's still not great at it. Like, he tends to engage in the social thing and not focus on the food. But now as a teenager, it's not like he's going to starve to death. And I'd rather that he focus on the social. I would much rather when he's with his friends that he's focused on what's happening amongst people, not the food. but we're not worried that he's going to fail to thrive. You see what I'm saying? So functional pretend play, it's a thing that we definitely want to do, and we want to start with the thing that looks like it, because then we're going to move to symbolic play. And eventually we're going to get to that creative play that you guys all write in and say that you want to know how to get to. Well, you got to start here. And they learn, like, there's rules to this. I can pretend and I can do something else and it looks like I'm being someone else. That's laying the groundwork, okay? Moving on, we have a question for you. And our question for you today, that goes kind of hand in hand with this, is a blender a good gift? Because I got to be honest with you, when I used to walk down the aisle and I would see all the pretend play toys that was like the vacuum cleaner, I'd be like, well, that's just, who's going to give a vacuum cleaner to a child? And by the way, I don't want a vacuum cleaner for a Christmas gift. And all of you ladies who are asking for an Instapot, I just want to hug you, because I think that's a horrible gift. If it's something for the house or it's something for the kitchen, which is for the house, I believe that comes out of the house budget. That is not the gift to the mom. And it offends me to my eye teeth. I don't know why. But, if you think that a blender is a great gift and that's what you want more than anything else, then that's the preference assessment, right? But I don't. And we have this big joke in my family about a crock pot, because at some point my husband was talking about getting me a crock pot for a Christmas gift. And I was like, oh, no, you don't, because I will get you a plunger for a Christmas gift. I don't think so, right? But so if a blender is a great gift for you, write in and say so, but I don't think so. Unless, maybe if it's, if it's a wedding gift, sure, it's a great gift, but I don't think it's a Christmas or a Hanukkah gift. I'm sorry, I don't. But I'd love to know from you guys. If it's a fake blender for a kiddo, it's 100% a great gift. I used to not think so, but I think so now. All right, we always have a topic of the week for you, and our topic this week is an interesting thing. It's an expression, called acting as if. That so often in life, we hit a moment in which we're not sure that we can do something, right? If you haven't been there, man, I'm there on a regular basis. When I was first asked to do this show, and I was like, yeah, I can do that, sure. And in my head, I was like, oh man, I don't know if I can do that. I have no idea. And so you know what I did? I was like, well, how would I act if I were acting as if I could do it? What behavior would I have to demonstrate to make it look like I could do it? And then you start behaving in that way. You're acting as if you can do it. And before long you go, oh, look at that. I not only can do it, I'm doing it, right? And I had a really interesting conversation with a parent the other day where they were saying, I don't really get the ABA thing. I don't really know what ABA is about. And I was trying to explain that ABA is, it's a science of behavior. And what it does is it makes circumstances, very small teachable moments, to show you how to do a part of a skill so that you can put skills together so that you don't get so frustrated that you go, I can't do that, right? It pulls apart a more complex skill and makes it doable. But it also reinforces you on a regular basis for accomplishing whatever you accomplish along the way. And I've had people say to me, yeah, but my kid can't do that. But it's just a matter of behavior. And if we teach them the behavior of how to do something, then they have the choice to do the behavior. That doesn't mean that they have to do the behavior. I got into a discussion with somebody who was very affronted, an adult on the spectrum, who said, no, what you're saying is that you taught them how to be in a way that you want them to be. And I take a little issue with that. I understand that opinion, but I take a little bit of issue with that because no, I'm just giving them a skill set and then they get to choose whether they use it. Because I've seen many people on the autism spectrum who are like, they're not upset about the fact that they don't make eye contact. They're like, I don't like making eye contact. Eye contact is not the thing that I particularly feel good about, so I don't want to do eye contact, and I support you in that. But then they'll say, I don't know why I didn't get that job. I went to go do that job, and I don't know why I didn't get that job. And sometimes it's because you don't make eye contact on the handshake. Now, is that fair? Is that right? Do we need to change that? Yes. Yes, yes, absolutely. But in the meantime, what I try to say to people is, do you want to know the trick of getting that job? Well, the trick of getting that job is to go in, shake hands, and make eye contact. You don't have to do it for 5 hours. You got to do it for 3 seconds. Do you want to know how to do that? And then the person on the spectrum says, oh, if it's just for 3 seconds and it makes the difference of me getting the job, yeah, no, I do want to know how to do that, right? And so what we do is we use the science of ABA to show them how, as to how to act as if they, this is not something that's painful for them. And it doesn't mean that they do it at home. It doesn't mean that they have to do it in the rest of their lives. But let's face it, we all act and behave within certain norms when we understand what the rules are so that we can be successful. And I just want to make sure that our kiddos on the spectrum get the skill level to be able to do that. But we can all do that. That's why ABA is something that encompasses much more than just autism. It encompasses neurotypical people too, because there are times when we want to be able to do something that we can't currently do. And really, all we have to do is learn the behavior. And if we learn the behavior, then we are able to do it. And if it's something we want, then we will do it faster, right? So we act as if. I ask you, is there something that you want to know how to do? Act as if. And find out what is the behavior that you have to do to act as if. And that's the secret to just about everything. And we can learn this, by the way, through play. Huh? How, bring it full circle. All right. Okay, so we got a big show for you today. We're going to start out with Bonnie Yates. She's going to be with us in just a minute, and she's going to be answering the questions that you guys have written in, and she sent me a very big goodie. It's like a small novel here. So we're going to talk about that. And then later in the show, I'm going to slaughter the name Nadav Mauz. I don't know. They're going to tell us how to pronounce their name. And they are coming to us from Yookido. And some of the best baby toys that I've ever seen. Can't wipe the grin off my face. So we've got 3 winners from our toy guide just from this company. You like the bath time? Get ready, because wig blown. You're going to love some bath toys and the best gym I've ever seen ever. So don't go anywhere. We're going to be right back with Bonnie Yates. Stick with us.
Hey, I'm Candace Cameron Bray.
Tom Bergeron.
You're watching Autism Live.
And you're watching Autism Live.
And you're watching Autism Live.
You're watching Autism Live.
Hi, Lisa Ackerman back with your Talk of Facts, the autism journey questions and answers that you need to help your child make the progress they need. I'm here to talk to you about one really important item. A lot of people ask me the question, well, Lisa, I want to see this specialist in another state. How do I do that? I don't own a jet. I don't have the ability to fly without great pain and travel. Not a problem. We know how to get this done. So I actually encourage families, even though in travel can be a tremendous hardship, getting a child with autism through security, through the plane, and in the journey to where they need to go. We have a whole white paper on TACA about how to travel with special needs kids. So it can be done. So travel, we know that can be expensive. Not everyone has an unlimited supply of cash for air flights. We love and work with this group called miracleflights.org. They're fantastic. They will fly you and your child, so one parent, one adult, anywhere in the United States, one time a year. Also in the TACA document are places to stay. So often you will have people in your life that love and support your family and don't know exactly how to help. Ask them to gift you their travel or their rewards cards or coupons for hotel, rental car. That's a great way to be able to get maybe a hotel room that has a refrigerator or a microwave and that's close to a Whole Foods, so you don't have that added cost of going out to dinner, especially if your kid has a lot of allergies. It's important to note that there's not a pediatrician or a specialist by every Starbucks in the United States. Close does not always equal best. So I bring up the travel point so you know that travel is possible, number one, and often it's really going to help you get down the road faster for your kid and getting the answers you need from the specialist that knows what to do. So don't be afraid to travel.
Welcome back to Autism Live. We're so excited because we have Bonnie Yates back with us on Skype. Hi, Bonnie.
Hi.
We're so glad to see you again. And Bonnie is an amazing, amazing special education attorney, and she's an amazing mom, and now she's an amazing grandma, and she's just an all-around fabulous person. She is here and donates her time to answer you guys' question, and we're so grateful to her and to the law firm of Hirji and Chow for allowing her to come to be with us. And Bonnie, we need at this point for you to tell us a little bit about Hirji and Chow and then give us the disclaimer.
Okay, really quickly, Hirji and Chow specializes in special education and disability discrimination, based in Culver City. The phone number is 310-391-0330, and the website is www.lawyer4children.com. The disclaimer is that when we answer questions, they're of general applicability, meaning we get a thumbnail sketch from somebody, we don't know all the facts. We are answering only generally and only under California law where I'm licensed, or federal law, which is the IDEA as it applies in the 50 states. So most people really have a specific problem that they should see a lawyer for. So we're trying to teach you about your rights under the IDEA, but probably if you have a specific controversy, you really need to get some more focused attention. Sit down with somebody that can ask you the right questions. So with that said, we had questions for today.
Yeah, let me dive right in. Do you want to talk about charters?
What I wanted to say was I want to do something in the next few weeks on injuries at school. Because
Okay.
a lot of kids get injured at school, and we get a lot of questions also about, my kid is coming home with bruises or marks, or, we've talked a little bit about that, but we're going to venture into the realm of how you preserve your right to sue if you believe your child has been injured at school. The other thing I wanted to say before you read the questions is the first question, I believe, is from a parent that had questions about a charter school.
Yeah.
And the whole arena of charter schools is huge. So I'm going to make some general comments about her question and about charter schools generally. And then next week, I'll have more time to actually do some research. And I'm going to do something about special ed rights in charter schools.
Wonderful.
So that's all
Absolutely.
coming up.
Okay, great. So the first question is about, and I actually think there's a second question about charter schools in here, although they don't specifically name it that, but we'll get to that. First question is, my grandson is in a private charter. The school is telling my daughter she has to pick him up when he misbehaves. I hear you talking about his right to a free, appropriate education. Does that change in a private charter school? What are his rights there?
Okay, so listener, apologies for not being knowledgeable about this area, and thanking you for having directed my attention to this area. I sent before the show a U.S. publication on your rights in charter schools, and that's what we're going to talk about next week. But Shannon can post that. Oh,
Yes.
She's so ahead of the game. Look at that.
I've got, well, not me, Cindy's ahead of things, and have this printed, and I have it in many different languages too. But it's not a small document, let's say
It's
that.
like 30 pages or something, yeah.
There you go.
Anyway, okay, so there's a lot of stuff about privatization and charter schools. So first of all, interestingly, charter schools got impetus for coming into existence because of No Child Left Behind and the race to the top. And apparently part of No Child Left Behind was encouraging failing schools to convert to charter schools, and the race to the top encouraged schools to create themselves as charter schools as a way to get government grants. There's been a big push to privatize across the country, and you can get into a lot of politics about why that is, and there's been a lot of study on the topic of the school-to-prison pipeline, which I'm not going to get into, but there are definitely people out there that equate privatization with fewer rights, like disciplinary protections and things like that. I've also heard that, Bloomberg, I think, is behind the creation of a lot of charter schools in Los Angeles or in California, and they have pretty lofty goals for how many tens or hundreds of charter schools they want to create. And I know one of the things about the charter schools that's different is they don't have the right to unionize. The charter schools are not subject to the same regulations as regular public schools are, and how the rules apply is difficult to tell anyone because they're both state-specific and charter school-specific. So when you want to know what's going on with your charter school, one of the things you have to do is figure out who's chartering it and then what the rules are, and they vary from school to school, and that's why it's hard to pin them down. They're deregulated, they're autonomous, they do get public funding, but they're exempted from state and local rules and regulations, and they have a reputation for being allowed to be or getting away with being much less, what's the right word? Don't observe the rights to the degree required by law of students with IEPs that may be being expelled from school for behavior that's a manifestation of their disability. So because of the way they've been deregulated on the state level, civil rights lawyers have concluded that they're going to increasingly have to rely on federal law to enforce people's rights in the charter schools. Their funding comes from local property taxes, state per pupil allegations, and federal categorical aid programs. And theoretically, all charter schools are supposed to follow the IDEA in the charter school, but we know that there are problems with that, and that's what we're going to talk about next week. With all of that said, there are at least 2 charter schools on the west side of Los Angeles. One is City Charter and the other is New West Charter that parents are dying to get into. And I will tell you that I did an IEP about a year ago at New West Charter School, and whatever else is wrong with it, the school is clean, it's not overcrowded, and when I did the student's IEP, it was one of the most non-adversarial IEPs I've ever gone to. So I think charter schools are a mixed bag, but I want to encourage the listener to look at that publication, and I'm going to talk more about this next week. So that's kind of what I know today about charter schools.
Okay. So the next question, my son's IEP, because of autism, allows him to have speech 1 hour a week. All they work on there is pronunciation, which he needs, but there is no work on creating conversation. How do I get them to work on that?
Okay. So I can't imagine working for an hour a week on articulation. I mean, I think it would just drive everybody crazy. And if he's a child with autism, you assume that he has problems with expressive and receptive language and pragmatics, among other things, in conversation. So you've got to go back and look at the IEP goal that was written. And if the only goal that they wrote for him was an articulation goal, that's probably a denial of faith, because probably he should have had goals in these other areas. You don't say when his last assessment for speech and language was completed, but if you go back and take a look at it, see whether it is deficient in that it doesn't mention any other problem areas except for articulation, or if in fact it does, and so the deficiency was that those things weren't written into the IEP. If you're concerned that the speech and language evaluation upon which his IEP is predicated is deficient, and the assessment is less than 2 years old, you can write the district a letter and request an evaluation at public expense in the area of speech and language. And that would be a way to get an outside person, an outside professional speech therapist, to do an assessment of him and figure out what his unique needs are in the area of speech and language, and then you could come back to the team and you could improve the IEP.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Great concept. So I'm going to move on to this third question. I suspect this is also a charter school question. My daughter goes to a school that has a lottery. My son is automatically supposed to be accepted because of their grandfather policy. They are saying he can't go to school there because they don't have a program for him. It is a public school. Can they do that?
Well, you know, that's a very interesting question, and I had somebody in the office who had a similar situation, and it wasn't a charter school. It was a language magnet.
Okay.
And the language magnet had the policy that that siblings got automatic preference. So I think what you're going to run into is that you get automatic preference, but the IEP team may not recommend that placement. And so then what? I mean, because on its face, it sounds like pure discrimination. But you also have this issue of the IEP team determines placement. You could try telling them that they're discriminating against your child on the basis of his disability, and that non-disabled kids who have siblings, those siblings get automatic preference. So your child is being treated differently because of his disability. And you could challenge that at the time of the IEP meeting by disputing the IEP, or you could make a state complaint to the California Department of Education on the grounds that your child is being discriminated against because he has a disability. You don't say what kind of a program the school has. If they have a general ed program and it's just dual language, then I think the question becomes, what kind of placement does your child need? And if your child can be successful in a general education placement, then I'm back to this is discrimination and they have to let him in. But you'll have to have a strong campaign. You know, you need to figure out what things you're willing to do, and then you need to go and sit down with the principal of that school and say, I know you're trying to do what's best for everybody, and you may not realize it, but, you know, what the school's doing is breaking the law, and go from there. But in theory, they can't discriminate against him on the basis of his disability, but on the other hand, if he needs a moderate to severe special day class, and all they have is general ed, I don't think you're going to get a hearing officer to rap these people on the knuckles. You know, I think the hearing officer is going to say, well, if he doesn't need general ed, he needs a specialized placement, then that's not the right school for him.
Okay.
But if he can be successful in general ed, you have a strong case.
Okay. The last question we've got today is, we are halfway into the first half of the year and my son's teacher isn't working. She is all about punishment. She punishes him by making him sit out of social activities. I have complained to the school and the principal, and they assured me the principal assured me she was on it.
She's on it.
Then the teacher made him sit out of the Halloween party because he was caught playing with a toy during circle time. I am so mad. I don't know what to do. I want him out of her class. How do I do that?
Well, you have to look at the board policies for your school and see how you make a complaint against a specific teacher. But there are provisions for making a complaint to usually the superintendent of schools about what's happening in the classroom and ask for the classroom to be changed. Districts are not cooperative oftentimes when people ask for classroom changes. I think that stems from if I do it for one, then I'm going to have to do it for everyone. So my question is, how is this mom getting her information? Is the child telling her? Does she have any sources of information that are adults that work at the school? I mean, it sounds like this is a terrible teacher. She also didn't say whether she sat down with the teacher and asked her to stop the teacher from doing it. But certainly you could make a complaint. If you wanted to be really radical, you could report the teacher to the Department of Children and Family Services for child abuse. That would probably get everybody a little bit excited.
I guess my follow-up question for this, Bonnie, is that we know that IEPs can have a BIP attached, a behavior intervention plan. But when something happens in the classroom that there is no BIP for, Are teachers just allowed to pick what they want the intervention to be and have it be something where the child gets excluded from something that was happening with the rest of the class? Because
Well,
I see this happen a lot.
The state of the Hughes bill, which determined, what kind of interventions were appropriate for emergency behavior interventions, is in a state of flux. But it said that you're not allowed to use interventions that are, that essentially cause pain or trauma and are purely punitive. I would argue that this is like a form of, it's almost like a form of seclusion,
Yeah.
or isolation that requires an incident report if you're going to use it. And the focus on behavior intervention is always that it's supposed to be positive. And the Hughes bill applies whether somebody has the rules about behavior interventions apply whether somebody does or doesn't have a behavior intervention plan. And it sounds like all of her behavior intervention is negative, not positive.
Right. And I see this happen a lot. And I'm a former teacher, and I remember.
Teachers,
Yeah.
frustrated aides.
And people who just don't know better. I don't want to vilify them. I would love to, but I don't want to. Because I think it's people who have never been taught any other way.
Correct.
And,
they don't have the skills.
right. And nobody has said, oh no, this is the way we address this. And I could say to this mom, well, you need to call an IEP meeting, and you need to schedule for a BIP to be done on the behavior of when he's caught playing with a toy. But that seems like an epic waste of common sense time. That it seems like to me, but maybe not if this is what it comes down to, but it seems like to me that what happens is if we don't do that, the teacher comes up with, well, I know, I'll take away something that I know you'll really miss, that you won't have an opportunity to go to for a whole year, a Halloween party. And I'm mad for the mom. I want to go over there and go, no, now you have to sit out of the holiday party because you misbehaved as a teacher. Mom
should document all these incidents, go to the principal and ask that they put a BCBA in the classroom to give the teacher some better strategies. I know mom wants out of the classroom, but if they don't let her out at a bare minimum, that should be done.
Yeah. Because I don't know that either. I don't know that there's another class to go to. Sometimes it's rough. And I don't know that it'll be any better.
It's hard to get classes changed. It's almost impossible to get grades changed.
Yeah.
And it's when you have a teacher, there's an archetype of a teacher, and it doesn't always apply, but when you see them, after a while you know them. They've been in the school 20 or 25 years. They know where all the bodies are buried. They aren't afraid of the principal. They know they have the backing of the union, and they don't like special ed. They feel like IEPs make unreasonable demands upon teachers, and they're basically just going rogue, and they don't care, and they don't feel accountable.
Yeah. And we as parents have to be very mindful about if our kids get stuck in a class with one of those people, we got to be on them 24/7 to make sure that our kids are safe and that their self-esteem is not destroyed and that they are not left out of things, because it's tragic when they are.
It's really bad. It's really bad. I'm reading the file this morning of a kid who had an aide who was giving him, what do you call it? Like trigger point squeeze pinches on the arm to ensure compliance. And the only reason I can prove that it happened is because we sent our evaluator in there and she saw it being done.
Wow. Well, good catch, because otherwise that kid was going to end up having bruises forever. It makes me mad. And
really
yet there
sad.
are so many people who are so great, but it takes one person like that to make us all distrust everyone. It's just horrifying. But Bonnie, I know that usually we also give out the address to COPA if people are not in the Southern California area. Should we tell them about COPA?
Oh yeah, thank you. So if you need a lawyer and you're not in Southern California, there is a national organization of parent attorneys and advocates, COPAA.net, Council of Parent Attorneys and Advocates. That's a really great resource for finding a lawyer if you're in one of the 50 states. Now, I haven't vetted these people myself, but I go to conferences with them every year. They seem very committed. Most of them, came into the field for personal reasons. And so at the very least, that's a good place to start. You know, it's better than like blind searching or cold calling.
Yeah.
Maybe some of them have, you know, maybe that the names will lead you to their websites, and you can check it out. And you know, a lot of places will have, I mean, we certainly do, other people do as well. You can usually, you know, like I had somebody come in yesterday. They said, we want to come in and meet you. We've heard about you. We want to get to know you to see whether you're the right person for the future to work with us. And, you know, I said, of course you can come in, and I'd love to meet you too. So, I mean, you can search these people out and make a relationship with them in advance of having a problem, so that if you do have a problem, you've got that in place.
I think that's a great idea. Unfortunately, we're out of time, but next week you're gonna talk to us about when kids get injured at school. How about that?
And charter schools.
And charter schools. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not going to send you any questions next week. We're going to hold on questions.
Well, no.
You
The
want
questions are good and they
Okay.
need to be answered.
All right. We'll
So
we
send the
can still take
questions and we'll figure it out.
Okay. All right, Bonnie, tell
Okay.
us again about
Bye,
Hear Ji and
everybody.
Chow. Tell us about
Thank
Hear Ji
you.
and Chow. Before you go, tell us about Hear Ji and Chow again.
Yes. Here, Jan Chow, 3910330, lawyerforchildren.com. We'd love to hear from you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Bonnie. Have a good week.
You too.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye.
That was Bonnie Yates from the law firm of Hear Ji and Chow. We are going to take a break, and then we are going to be back. Oh my gosh, if you love baby toys, I've got some baby toys for you. Absolutely amazing. We're going to have Yookido on with us talking about 3 of the winners from this year's toy guide. So don't go anywhere.
Inclusion is everything. Feeling like we have a place where we belong, and when I say we, I'm first and foremost a mother of a child on the spectrum and not, and gym owner and now founder of carrying this to families who need it as well.
My son is extremely hyperactive. Getting him to calm down is a very difficult task. So the idea of Rock the Spectrum Gym, where he could just go and run and play and do all these fun things without any kind of worries and just go and bring down that energy, it helps us so much at home. You know, in the home or at school, it's not acceptable, but this is the one place it is acceptable for the child to kind of be themselves and get it all out there and just really just be themselves.
It's an amazing place where my son could go and be himself. You get to meet other parents who are in the same journey as you are.
I think the most popular aspect of it is how they include all children of all types, not just only learning disabled, lower functioning, moderate functioning, high functioning, and non-disabled.
The people there are so friendly. Everybody's like family. They always greet you with a smile. There's not one negative thing I could say about any of the employees. They're all absolutely amazing. I think every parent should walk in through those doors and see what an amazing gym it is.
Now a diagnosis being 1 out of 6 kids are in some way or form affected with sensory processing disorder or autism. That's why We Rock Now is on the rise. People want to be a part of it. People know that they have a community there. They know that they can learn more information about things that they don't know themselves or that they can share, build friendships, and basically get what you get in an OT facility, but it's not $150 an hour. It's $12.
Okay, look, here's the thing. I am having way too much fun. And you're about to have the fun with me because welcome back. We're here and we are going to show you some toys that are absolutely amazing. They're from a wonderful toy company called Yookido. And I've got joining me right now via Skype, I've got Nadav. And I'm already going to mess up your last name. So tell us your last name. Maoz, the way it's spelled, I just can't pronounce it. But so we've been featuring toys from our toy guide winners the last few days, and your company sent some toys that I went absolutely crazy over. And then we showed them to parents, and they went absolutely crazy over them too. I almost don't know where to start, but never before in the studio have we attempted to have a bathtub experience in the studio, but we had to be able to demonstrate these toys. Which one do you want to start with? Do you want to start with the 2-stage sensory bathmobile, or would you like to start with the Create a Pirate Jet Duck? Which one do you want to start with, Nadav?
We can start with the sensory bathmobile.
Okay. So I've got this, and we're simulating a bath here, and we had to get a clear tub because we wanted you to see what happens. I'm going to move my pirate duck out of the way over to this end of the bathtub and show you that this is really cool because I've got it right here in the mode as if you've got it in a baby bath, the little portable baby bath. But there is a very easy attachment that you put on to get it to just suction to the side of your bathtub once you transition them to the bathtub. Love that, right? But this isn't just a bath toy. Everything they do is interactive and multi-dimensional. So this is one of the coolest things that I've ever seen, and I've already got myself soaking wet today, but there is a button here with a bird on it. I don't know if you guys can see. And there's a part that sticks down into the bathtub, but as soon as I push the button, I've got interactive water spray. The bird is shooting water at us, and the little flowers are moving.
You can also turn the bird.
I can face it whatever way.
The baby can sense.
And notice that as soon as I did that,
you want the baby to sense the water, the bird spitting the water out. It's very gentle. And if you don't want, you can turn it around.
And this, by the way, there are different speeds of water, so I can have a lot of water coming down or just a little. It's very gentle. This, I'm serious, this is the most wonderful thing I think I've ever seen. Because we have some kids who start out and they're not really into the bathtub, right? They're not into the water. The water can be intimidating or scary, or it can be boring. It can just be boring. And our kids like to be, we know that to grow brains in the way that we want to grow brains, we want to give them things that are interactive, things to react to. So I absolutely love this. You could have it off in the bathtub, and the child can be spinning the flowers themselves. Great working on tracking things, so that eye motility that we want to work on with babies, but also all the grasp things and its cause and effect. Truly, truly a wonderful, wonderful toy. But then you add that element of the water into it, and that it functions different with the water into it. And Nadav, we went nuts over this. It's so clever.
That is great to hear. Our studio focuses on the development of the baby and the benefits that they get out of it. And the sensory absolutely gives them both of those. And once they start, usually they start with their feet because they want to try it out. Mm-hmm. And then they start moving their hands towards the wheel, the spinners that are going, and the sense of the water calms them down, which we found out. We tested before we place a product on the market. We try it on 30 babies and see how they react to it. So most of them do react the same. And that's when we are saying, okay, we're doing something good.
Absolutely.
And let's see what else they can get out of it.
And so this won the award for us in our 2019 Autism Live Toy Guide. It got, in the baby category, this won the Parent Award because the parents just went nuts over this and said, this is so exciting. One of the things that they particularly loved about all of the toys that we chose from your company is that it's not just a toy that you use for a month and then it's gone. That this toy is a 2-stage development toy, so you can have it in that baby bath with a very small child, and then you can move it and attach it to the side of the tub. And this is a toy that they'll play with for years because it's super duper fun and really help kids to make that bath and water play super duper fun for them. So we love it. This is what it looks like when it comes in the box, you guys. And I always try to remember to say to people that we shoot on a green screen. So there's a whole lot of green in the picture that you're seeing disappear. Even the branch, you can see a little bit, it's a little bit translucent. The branch that the flowers are on is green, so that's why it looks a little bit different than what you'll see in the store. There's a lot of green on this package, but it's really well packaged, great toy, very durable, and super fun for bath time. Now, also in the bath, I love a good rubber ducky. I'm all about the rubber ducky, but you guys have taken the rubber ducky and you've transformed it into something beyond belief. I love, right now we're demoing the one here on the bottom, the Jet Duck, which is the Create a Pirate, but you can see that they've got them in several different, that's all the things you can do with the pirate. It comes with this wonderful thing that can hook right to the side of the bathtub. I love that I don't have to look.
Scooper.
What's that?
That's the scooper. So once they finish up the bathtub, they just scoop up all the accessories that they get with the toy.
Well, I love this too because I'm putting it on the side here, and it's got all the little. So it's kind of like the old Mr. Potato Head, right? I can take the hat off of this guy. I can take his eyes off. I can change what he's wearing in the front. I can make him look lots of different ways. There's holes here. I put the pirate thing on the cannon, but we have to show them what this does. I'm gonna get wetter than wet. So there's a little button here on the front of the duck, and I want him to be in the water when I push it. But when I push it, he motors himself around and he sprays from the cannon, and I just got soaking wet. But how fun is this, you guys? Oops, got to keep him in the water. I'm telling you, hours of fun in the bathtub. Oop, I didn't get him off. So super fun, but you have more than just the pirate. I've got also here, there's one that's a Create a Firefighter, and I know that you guys have other ones as well. What a fun gift. This one are oldie but goodie, because when you take a toy that's been around forever, the rubber ducky in the bathtub, and make it this spectacular and this awesome, our kids with autism deserve to have wonderful interactive toys like this. So love this. There's so many different things here that they're going to work on all different kinds of skills. There's fine motor, there's push and pull to get the different pieces in and out, right? But there's cause and effect.
Also, there's cause and effect, of course, and there's frustration-free.
Yeah.
So there's not really one way to build the pirate. You can create whatever you want, and there's no frustration with it. So they can make it funny. They can do all kinds of other funny characters that they want to make with the. You can take the ear, put it in the nose. Every single piece fits in every hole. So they can actually do whatever they want to create that minute.
Yeah.
So there's no frustration with it. And we also have one for girls, which is Create a Mermaid. Which is also a beautiful one, yes. So they have a lot of playtime with it.
Really wonderful, and I love that we've got the cup that's self-draining, so it gets water in it, you pull it out of the water, there's holes in the bottom, and it drains all the stuff out. It's got a thing on a hook here, so if I can put it on the side of the tub if I'm doing the baby tub, but there is a piece that I can change it as well to go to a suction cup so that I can put it on the side of the bathtub. So, because we know that we want bath time to be really reinforcing, and we want it to be super fun, and I love that there's all these pieces because they're gonna sit in the water and they're gonna change the duck piece, the bill out, they're gonna have all that fun doing that. But when it's time for the bath to be over, I know we've all gone through that experience that you're trying to take a shower the next morning and there's bath toys all over the bathtub, right? So I love that you were saying scoop it up with this and you've got a place to hold all of them. and it can suction right to the side of the bathtub, and you're good to go. Love, love, love these toys. All right, we have another toy of theirs to show, but I kind of want to mop down because I've gotten wet and gotten the desk wet before we show you the most amazing baby gym you've ever seen in your life. So I'm going to ask you guys to hold tight while we go to commercial. We're going to reset for the jungle gym. Is that okay for you, Nadav?
Sure.
Okay.
I'll wait.
While we're in commercial, as we go to commercial, I'm putting can you see the stream on this thing? It's hilarious. So much fun. Your kids will love this. If you're a grandparent, you should get this for your kiddo, for your grandkids, because it will be the toy that is dearly loved. I just want to play with it all day long. All right, we're going to go to break. We'll be back to show you this amazing, amazing sensory gym. Stick with us.
Neurodiversity in parents. One big happy family? We hope so. Anyway, what is neurodiversity? Everybody's talking a lot about it these days. Neurodiversity means that there's a view that people with autism just have a different way of being, and they should be honored for that. And then parents oftentimes look at autism as a disability or a disorder, and that can create some conflict. We sometimes throw up our hands, neurodiversity or neurodiversity. There can actually be some issues around this that we need to think about together. First of all, neurodiversity could be positive because it can create more of kind of a sense of acceptance in society. Yes, these people have autism, they're just different. It could possibly help create a sense of self-esteem that's improved in people with autism. They just realize, okay, I'm not damaged, I'm not bad, whatever, I'm just different. So that could be useful. On the downside, it could be an excuse to not give services to people with autism, to not have much empathy for their parents, and to not look at ways that they can be helped. And in many people that have autism, they do very well. Other people do not do well at all. They can't access services. They cannot enjoy their life. They're in pain. So it is important that we understand it's not just one issue. So how do we solve this when we look at neurodiversity? I think we have to look at it this way. It's kind of like when you have that big family dinner at Thanksgiving and everybody's around the table. You got your uncle, your aunt, your kids, your parents. Everyone has an opinion. It doesn't necessarily mesh. And I think the way that we need to think about this is we need to respect each other's opinion, because actually we need each other. We need to be allies on this. The outside world is a big place for people with autism spectrum disorders and their families. We have to remember, we're one big, happy, dysfunctional family, and we need to behave that way. We should respect each other, listen to each other, and we will all have a great time when it comes time to get together and celebrate the lives of people with autism.
Welcome back. I'm so excited. So this is the Jamotion Robo Playland. And if you've ever had a baby and gotten them a gym, let me just tell you, this is the best gym I've ever seen. And the fact that it's Robo, I'm extra special in love. And of course, we are continuing to talk with Nadav. And Nadav, say your last name again for us. Maoz. And he is with us from Yookido. And Yookido and their tagline is celebrating discovery. We are just loving their baby toys. If you've got a baby in your life, this is the top toy winner for the baby division for our 2019 guide. So there's so many things that you can do here, and there's 3 stages of development. And what we're showing you right now is when you've got a little itty bitty baby, and what you're going to do is you're going to lay them down on their back on this, and it's this wonderful, soft, padded beautiful. I love the colors, and these are the colors that children most respond to as their eyes are developing. You've got this, there's all different kinds of interactive things on the mat. I've got these little bows here that I don't know if you guys can see, but you can hear them crinkling, right? And it's all beautiful stitching, really well done, you guys. But there's the doggy, and the doggy is two-sided, so he's the blue and the red too. Here the crinkly, we know it's important. They've done all kinds of studies on this, that it's important for kids to feel texture and to have different things that will stimulate their senses that they'll want to touch. And I love that Doggy has a ring here so that we can attach him to everything, because it all can go in one piece. But there's so much other stuff here, and we're just still talking about when the baby is laying on their back. So check it out. I've got my little car track here on the top, and when I do that, look at this. So I've got this wonderful car that's going to go back and forth, and whatever I've attached here, right now we've got a mirror that's attached to it, but I've also got so many other choices. I could attach the little robot characters to it. I can attach this interactive rattle, and I've got different volumes that I can make the car go. So that's stage one. And have I left anything out of stage one here, Nadav?
No, you're doing
Am I cooking with gas here? So then we want to go to stage two, which is when we're going to put them on their tummy to play. And that's when you're trying to teach your child to hold their head up. And this is a very important stage, because we want our kiddos to start to be able to do that and look at something in front of them. And so this wonderful thing here, it's all Velcro. We're able to take down this track from the top with the car, and look, it gets attached right here. I gotta take my mirror off, and it gets Velcroed back in. There's these handy dandy little Velcro straps right here. And so now you put your baby on their stomach and you push the button, and they're looking at the car go back and forth and playing with it here.
Shannon, you need to stick the magnet to the side, and then the car won't take it, and it will go freely on the Magic Motion track.
Okay, well I see, it's the magnet under here.
Exactly.
So you guys would do that, and that's going to take me a hot second here, but you guys would be able to do that. But the point is that now you've got this car that's going to go back and forth here while your child is tracking it. Talking about working on their being able to sit up, hold their head up, and track something with their eyes, reach out for it with their fingers. And you still got all these wonderful things hanging here that they can play with.
And the dog, and the dog pillow, that's for the tummy time. So it's more comfortable for them
to hold,
help themselves on it. Exactly, to hold their head.
So super fabulous.
Shoulders.
And then when we get to stage 3, we can remove these the gym bars here, so that they've got this wonderful play mat that they can sit and play with all of the toys, with the little robots who are so fabulous, with the dog, and are sitting here. So this is a toy that takes you all through your first year and potentially well beyond that. I love all the interactivity of it. I love all the different parts that we're working on, because we're really stimulating the child's senses. We're helping to build those strong core muscles and build the interest, the reason why they would hold their head up to try and reach for something and play for something. That's going to be vital and important down the road. So what did I leave out? Because I love this so much.
You can place the robots and both puppets on the car. So that way, yes, that way baby can track. You have something more interesting to track.
I see they've got little hoops on their outfits, and I can hook them on there. Hold on a second.
Exactly.
There we go. I got him. I did not see that before. I missed that. That's why I had to have you here with me. But look at that. Look at him go. How much do we love that? And then they're going to want to reach out to grab that, and that's good play skills. Okay. And I can adjust the volume on that too, which is the hallmark of a good toy too, right?
It also plays 2 tunes. You can put it without volume or too soon.
And I love the doggy. The doggy is wonderful. And one of the best things about this thing is that all of this folds up very easily, and there's little handles and Velcro so that you can take this to grandma's house and it's no big deal. And it just folds like a taco. So this is the top toy for babies. Without a doubt, there was no question. Everybody was so excited about it. Everybody loved the robot theme about it and loved that this toy does so many things and that it stays with your child for so long. Because you know that in the baby category, there's a lot of stuff that people get and you get it and you use it for a month and now they've outgrown it. And it's like, oh, why did we spend that amount of money on that piece of equipment or that toy? And my child played with it for exactly 2 weeks. So this is something that gives and gives and gives and just keeps giving. And I really love the mirror too. The mirror is super cute. So that they can be looking at themselves and looking at things around them. And it's so well thought out and planned, it's super fabulous. I love it. I'm guessing you do too.
I do too, absolutely. The mat is fabulous. It's well padded. It's very comfortable for the babies, and lots of benefits and development. So that's what we do for babies.
Really wonderful. So where can people find your toys?
Well, you can find it at your local specialty store. You can find it on Amazon. Some of them are in other mass market retailers, Barnes and Noble. We're all over. We're well spread.
Well, and I also want to tell people the easiest place that you can find these 3 toys right now today, when you go to autism-live.com, our toy guide is live at the top of the page. All you have to do is go there, click on the toy guide, go to the baby section. These toys are featured with the awards that we told you because we gave them to them. And if you go to the name of each product and hover on the name, you put your cursor there, if you click it, it will take you directly to a place where you can purchase any of the toys that are in our guide. Because you guys asked for that. Because you said, I love the toy guide, now I want to buy the toys, now I have to go Google them. I don't want to do that, Shannon. So we said, let's make it easy on them. So I just want to thank you, Nadav, so much for being here with us and for showing us these great toys and for making great toys. Will you please tell everybody at Yookido how much we loved your toys and how gazonga we went over them?
Thanks for having me, Shannon.
Thank you so much. Check them out, you guys, in our toy guide. I love this doggy. He's got like dual personality depending on which way you look at him. He's super awesome. And he's soft. It's good fabric. It's well made. Well made. We love it. All right. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
And we're like so out of time. We've gone over. So I want to thank everybody for being here and check out the toy guide. We're going to continue with our toy reviews and showing you why we chose the winners that we did. So, and I'm supposed to tell you who is on the show all this week. But everything is wet because we did the rubber ducky. Okay, so tomorrow we've got a best of. On Wednesday, we think we might have Dr. Doreen, and on Thursday, okay, this is the breaking news here. On Thursday, we are having a wonderful, wonderful guest, a surprise guest. I'm not even going to tell you right now, but it's big. It's very, very big, and I'm going to say comedy show big, and then you might know who it is that we're having on the show. And we are also going to have Darby Zardanik from Empower Poster, one of our top toys for adults. On Friday, we've got Ada Rodriguez, who's a comedian, and Stefan is going to join us from My Yellow Toys. So really excited about that. But let's just say if you're a friend of Jerry Maguire, if you've watched that movie, you're going to want to be here on Thursday. And now you know, don't you? But I'm not saying it until tomorrow. All right. Subscribe, get the guide that comes out at the beginning of the week, and then you will know for sure. All right, it's Jay Moore. Jay Moore is going to be with us on Thursday. He's hilarious, and he is so much a fan of the autism community and helping comedians who are on the autism spectrum get work as comedians, and he's raising money for Fullerton Cares. So Jay Moore, yes, from his podcast and from Jerry Maguire and so many other things, is going to be with us on the live show on Thursday morning, so you're not going to want to miss that. Until tomorrow, when it's the best of, give your kiddos a hug for me and one for you too. Bye-bye for now.